Hello everyone, Archana is here. Welcome to the fifth session of presentation in English. In today's class, I'm going to deal with the first prose and the second chapter, that is Studio, written by Leo Tolstoy. Studio is a story written by Count Leo Tolstoy, a famous Russian master of realistic fiction, and is widely considered one of the world's greatest novelists. The story Studio is a parody. Parody means caricature or picture or imitation or mockery of one of the modern systems of governance. It ridicules the ways of punishing criminals and dispensing justice in modern states. It is first published in 1897. It is a humorous account of the troubles of dealing with a criminal in the kingdom of Monaco. The story explores the themes of governance, justice, power, and capital punishment in the kingdom Monaco. Let's deal with the story. In the initial part of the story, we will get to know about the complete details of the kingdom, where it lies, its inhabitants, population, system of the king's governance, army, minor and major source of income, etc. etc. Where the kingdom Monaco lies, near the borders of France and Italy, on the shore of Mediterranean Sea. On the shore of the Mediterranean Sea lies a tiny kingdom called Monaco. Now, many a small country town, they can boast more inhabitants than this kingdom. So, the population of the kingdom only about 7,000. So, 7,000 of them all. So, if all the land in kingdom were divided, there would not be an acre for each inhabitant. Each citizen will not get an acre if the whole kingdom is divided. But in this toy kingdom, there is a real kinglet, there's a real king, and he has palace, courtiers, ministers, and even a bishop and generals and an army. So each and everything the kingdom consists, each and every government system is considered in this kingdom. It is not a large army, only 60 men in all. The army consists of 60 soldiers, 60 soldiers, but still it is an army. There are also taxes in this kingdom, as you all know that we all pay taxes as elsewhere. So here, even though it is a tiny little kingdom, they pay tax. The citizens pay tax. So taxes on what? Taxes on tobacco, wine, spirits, and poll tax. Poll tax is nothing but individual tax. So these are the source of revenue in the government. In the government of what? Of where? Of Monaco. So what are the taxes the people or the citizen of Monaco pays to the government? That is taxes on tobacco, spirits, wine, and poll tax. Taxes on tobacco, wine, spirits, and poll tax. We all know that the sole responsibility of the king is to take care of his citizens and even his official members, that especially his court people, right? So now what happened? Due to less income, due to meager income, the king found very hard to take care of his courtiers or official members and even to keep himself. He found very hard to feed his courtiers, official members, and to take care of himself. So what did he do? What did he do? He thought of a new and special source of revenue. He thought of new and special source of revenue. Why did he think this? Because of insufficient funds. So what is that new source of revenue or income? This special revenue comes from a gaming house where people play roulette. Roulette is a gambling game. So from where the king thought of getting source of income, that is gaming house. People play, and whether they win or lose, the keeper always gets a percentage on the turnover. So what do the people play here in the gaming house? That is roulette game. Roulette game, it's nothing but a gambling game. So here what happens? Either the people lose or win, but the keeper always gets a percentage on the turnover. He has to pay the money, the gaming house, then he has to play. If he lose or win, the game house keeper definitely will get the income. And out of his profits, out of the profit of the keeper, he pays a large sum to the prince, to the king. So the reason he pays so much is that it is the only such gambling establishment left in Europe. Some of the little German sovereigns used to keep gaming houses of the same kind in the sense like a gambling house. But some years ago, they were forbidden to do so. They were prohibited to run the gaming house. What is the reason for this prohibition? The reason they were stopped was because these gaming houses did so much harm for the citizens. How? In what way? For example, a man would come and try his luck. Then he would risk all he had and lose it, where in the gaming house. Then what he used to do? He used to risk money that did not belong to him and lose that too. Not only he used to use his own money, even he used to borrow money for loan, and he used to use that money and lose that. Finally, he used to lose his own money, yeah, and even he lost the money what he had borrowed as a loan. Everything he lost. And finally, the last thing he had left out with was to lose his own life. Finally, the person, one who has lost everything and all the money, in despair, he would drown or shoot himself. Without any hope, he would drown or shoot himself. So the Germans prohibited their rulers to make money in this way. But there was only one king, that is Prince of Monaco. He remained with the monopoly of the business. So nobody could stop the Prince of Monaco in continuing with gambling business. He went on with this business. So now everyone who wants to gamble goes to Monaco. Whether they win or lose, the prince gains by it. You can't earn stone palaces by honest labor, as the proverb says, and the kinglet of Monaco knows it is a dirty business, but what is he to do? He has to live, and to draw revenue from drink and from tobacco is also not a nice thing. But he lives and reigns and rakes in the money and holds escort with all the ceremony of a real king. Here in the prose, Leo Tolstoy has used a proverb: you can't earn stone palaces by honest labor. So, how it resembles to the story. Here, the king of Monaco laid taxes on tobacco, wine, and spirit. He also laid a poll tax. This was a source of his income, but with the revenue collected this way, the king found it difficult to feed his courtiers, his officials, and to meet his own expenses. Nobody could live a king's life with the meager income as the Prince of Monaco got from his subjects. Therefore, to drive home the truth of this statement, he quotes the proverb: you can't earn stone palaces by honest labor. It only means that if one wants to live beyond his means, honest labor alone cannot fetch him enough money for his luxuries. It implies that one has to take recourse to earn extra money by some dishonest or unethical means. The King of Monaco also had a source of additional or alternative revenue. He used to receive a large sum of money regularly from a gaming housekeeper who paid it out of his profits earned from his gaming house. The king knew that earning one's living by running a gaming house where people risked their money at the roulette table was a dirty business. Yet he had allowed it to run because he needed money. He needed more money. Also, he knew that collecting tax on tobacco and drink was also unethical. But anyhow, He had been doing it for a long time, and so he did not mind collecting additional revenue by this dirty business as well. So everything went on well in the kingdom of Monaco under the leadership of the king. He has his own coronation, he rewards the people, his subjects, he sentences and pardons, and he also has his reviews, councils, laws, and courts of justice, just like other kings, only all on a smaller scale. That's it, everything he used to follow. Now, it happened a few years ago that a murder was committed in the toy prince's domain. The people of that kingdom are peaceable, and such a thing had not happened before. The judges assembled with much ceremony and tried the case in the most judicial manner. There were judges, prosecutors, jurymen, barristers, etc. etc. Everyone came together and started to think the solution for the problem. So far, nothing had happened in the kingdom. Finally, they faced a terrible situation that a murder takes place in the kingdom. So, the people of the kingdom, the one who used to lead their life peacefully, now everything got disturbed. So all the judges, they came together and they were working as it is a ceremony. Okay, everybody, they came together, and judicials, judges, prosecutors, jurymen, barristers all came together and started discussing about the problem to find the solution. So, what happened? They argued, judged, and at last they condemned the criminal to have his head cut off as the law directs. So far, so good. Next, they submitted the sentence to the prince. Everything they decided, all these officials, judicial officials, they came together, they discussed, finally, they came up with a solution, and they have submitted the solution to the prince. What is the solution? That they have to punish whom? The culprit, the murderer. So, what is the punishment? To cut off the head, to cut off the head of the murderer. So, they submitted the sentence to the prince. The prince read the sentence and confirmed it. Okay, you can go ahead. If the fellow must be executed, execute him. He declared a sentence or a statement that if the fellow must be executed, if the fellow must be killed or cut off his head, cut it off. Execute him. Kill him. There was only one hitch in the matter. All the judicial people, they came together, discussed, finally submitted the result to the prince. Even prince agreed for the decision made by the judicials, but they had a problem, they had a hitch. What is that hitch? That was, they had neither a guillotine for cutting heads off nor an executioner. So what happened? What is the solution or the punishment given to the murderer by the judicial commission or in the ministers? They all sat together, decided, discussed, and finally they came up with a solution to cut off the head, to execute the murderer. But they had a problem, that they did not had neither a guillotine for cutting heads off. It's a machine to cut the head off, nor an execution. Executioner means the person one who operates the guillotine. The ministers considered the matter and decided to address an inquiry to the French government, asking whether the French could not lend them a machine and an expert to cut off the criminal's head. And if so, would the French kindly inform them what it would cost? So finally, they pleaded the French government. They requested, they asked help from the French government to give them the machine and an expert. And they also wanted to know what is the cost of the machine and the expert. The expert could be supplied and the cost would be 16,000 francs. So, Who agreed? Yes, the French government agreed for the request paid by the Monaco kingdom, officials of Monaco kingdom. And the cost of the executioner and the machine would be 16,000 francs. This was laid before the king. He thought it over. 16,000 francs. The wretch is not worth the money, said he. The stupid is not worth, the murder is not worth for 16,000 francs. Can't it be done somehow cheaper? Why? 16,000 francs is more than 2 francs a head on the whole population. The people won't stand it and it may cause a riot. So what happened? The king, after seeing the written letter from French government that the cost of the executioner and machine will be 16,000 francs, the king thought that it's of utter waste to give money, that is 16,000 rupees, for whom? For the stupid murderer. So it's impossible for the king to pay 16,000. It's a waste of money. So he questioned, can't it be cheaper? Because the people won't stand it and it may cause a riot. Why the people may cause riot? Riot is nothing but disturbance. Why they will disturb the society? Why they will disturb the system? For example, if the king wants to pay 16,000 francs, he should have money. Now if he wants money, what he has to do? He has to collect the tax. Already he is collecting tax from various sources, but it is insufficient. So what he has to do? Again, he has to collect the tax. Definitely the people will not agree to give the tax more. So a council was called to consider what could be done. And it was decided to send a similar inquiry to the King of Italy. The French government is a republican and has no proper respect for king. But the king of Italy was a brother monarch and might be induced to do the thing cheaper. So the brother monarch, that is King of Italy, he is very close to the King of Monaco. So the King of Monaco thought that he might induce, he might reduce, he might convince to reduce. Induced means convinced, convinced to reduce the money in a cheaper way. So let us wait and see whether the King of Italy would agree to provide the requirements or not in the next session. So let's sum up. Let's conclude the first session of the Prose Studio written by Leo Tolstoy. So, where the kingdom Monaco lies, near the borders of France and Italy on the shore of the Mediterranean Sea. And it was a tiny little kingdom because of its population, that is only about 7,000 people. The commodities taxed in Monaco were tobacco, wine, spirits and poll tax. They also introduced a new gaming tax. The source of the king's special revenue came from which house? Gambling house. What is the name of the gambling house? That is called roulette. The gaming house keeper got a percentage on the turnover, of which he paid large sums to the king as tax. The Germans stopped gaming houses because many people lost all their money, also took loans to gamble, again to lose it. After risking all they had, they would drown or shoot themselves in despair. The Prince of Monaco profited because his was the only gambling house in the whole of Europe where all would come to gamble. All is well in the kingdom of Monaco until a man commits a murder. The king had never had to deal with the murder until the man was sentenced to death. So far, no murder was taken place in the kingdom. That is, the prisoner was sentenced to death by cutting off his head. He runs into considerable trouble trying to carry out the sentence. So, Monaco had neither guillotine nor an executioner. Guillotine is a machine used to cut off the head, and executioner is a person, one who operates the guillotine machine. So, let us wait and watch whether the brother monarch, that Italian government, will agree for the request made by the king of Monaco. So what was the request? To give the guillotine and an executioner. Give the guillotine and an executioner for cheaper amount. Will they agree or not? Will they be convinced or not? We'll get to know in the next class or in the next session. So here you have home assignments. You have 8 questions of 1 mark. All the 8 questions are really very easy. By the time I complete the questions, you will be able to answer to these questions. First question, how many inhabitants did the Kingdom of Monaco have? Second, what were the items on which taxes were imposed? Third, what was the game that was played in the gaming houses? Fourth, how many men did the army of Monaco have? Fifth, what is a guillotine? Sixth, Monaco did not have a guillotine as well as an dash. Seventh, which government was approached first? Eighth, who is known as a brother monarch? Please answer to all these questions and submit it to me. Thank you.